I want us to briefly touch on Dome Kwabena and whether, based on what you've seen, you are very worried about the possibility that the party could lose that seat if Adwoa Safo doesn't contest again. As we speak, we do know the Parliament has summoned her to appear before the Privileges Committee. We don't know whether she'll be able to make it. But some will say, regardless of whether she appears before the Privileges Committee or not, when you look at all that has happened to her in the last few months, even if it looks like if she contests, there's going to be a problem. If he doesn't contest, there's going to be a problem. I don't want to have any quick thoughts to share on Adwoa Safo.
Well, I think that
before we proceed to talk about.
Well, yes, I think that before proceeding, it's important that we recognize the uniqueness of the constituency as it relates to Adwoa Safo and Dome Kwabena. Clearly, you are very right in stating that a sizable part of the constituents are very loyal to him. Close to about 50% of the constituents are really, really very loyal to him. It would be a very sad day for us as a political party to lose her to the wrong side in terms of a reaction that may not augur well to her. Okay. I'm sure it is one of the reasons why the party has really relented on taking any action as it relates to either dismissing her or either doing a by-election or any of those. I mean, clearly our own independent research that we have done as well as a political party tells us clearly that Adwoa Safo's situation is a very unique case which must be handled circumspectively. Because you are aware that in this country, no matter what we do, the legislature is important. There's no way the executive arm of government can operate effectively without a strong and formidable legislature. So Adwoa Safo is key. We do not want to lose her. We do not want to lose her followers. We need to have a broader conversation. Even if she desires to step aside, it's important that the bigger political party, which is the New Patriotic Party, does not suffer for her decision. And then we need to be able to also get a blessing of her followers. She's run successfully over the years after senior Professor Michael Quay, and has brought more developments within the constituency, especially even when it was expanded beyond the original geographical demarcations.
Is the Adwoa Safo matter a big worry within your circles? And I'm asking this because the president is her appointor. He appointed her. Why is it difficult for the president to ring her and say, look, I need you back home. I know you have issues with your son, you're taking care of your son, but then you have a decision to make because I have a business to run as well. I have a country to govern. It is either you come back home and work, or you stay there, take care of your son. Let me get somebody else to take care of your portfolio. You know, as and when you are fine and you want to come back and I have a job for you, I'll give it to you. Because when I heard Adwoa Safo the last time in her interview on Joy, she said she's been in touch with the president. The president knows exactly what she's going through. So what exactly is happening? But before you answer that question, let me thank Musa Dankwa. Musa Dankwa, what's going to be your next post, and what would you be looking at?
We're looking at a wide range of issues in the next poll, including most of the questions we asked previously. We want to track them over time. Right. So next end of July, we'll release our fresh polls, which will cover about 75 constituencies. Right. But before that, we are going back to 3 areas in the Western region. We are going back to Shama. We are going to Shama. We are going to Efia. We are going to Sekendi. We want to see something. Something is happening there that we want to understand. We're going back there, and that poll should be ready in the next 2 weeks or so. Right. That will come before we actually start the new one. And that will give us a better idea of what's happening around coastal belts of the Western region. Something is happening there, we don't know why. And when do you intend to do this? We're starting it from Monday. From Monday? Yes. I see. So you want to do this periodically? Yes. Okay. Every 3 months. Every 3 months. Musa Dankwa, I want to thank you very much for joining us. It's been wonderful having you. The politicians will take it over, and then would hear what they have to say. Now, Musa Dankwa is Executive Director of Global Info Analytics. He's also a pollster. He's been giving us a midterm polls about how the various constituencies are looking, 275. Unfortunately, we can't go through 275 because of time, but he's walked us through the ones that he tells us
are looking very interesting and looking very, you know, so basically anything and everything can happen in that particular constituency. So if you're an MP and you're there, you've got to be extremely careful. So that's exactly what is done. So let me come back to the politicians now. Pagribuachi Dankwa is government spokesperson on governance and security. He's been telling us his views about the polls and also specifically about Domi Kwabena. But then I asked him a question about why can't the president do something about Adwoa Safo's case? What does the president have a peculiar difficulty in reining her in? Because the MPP is struggling in parliament because of numbers. Adwoa Safo is not there. And also, the gender ministry which she heads, I don't think is being run the way it's supposed to because the substantive minister is not there. And that's the question I sought to pose to Pagribuachi Dankwa. So does the president have any difficulty?
I don't think so. I don't think the president has any difficulty. Okay. I think that there are two issues that we need to look at. Okay. I mean, Adwoa Safo is a member of parliament representing her constituents. Thousands of people have reposed trust and integrity in her. I mean, so that's on the political side.
Right.
Adwoa Safo as well also serves in government as a minister for gender. You are aware that there is a caretaker minister, and I think that I would disagree with you that the ministry is not being run well. I mean, the caretaker minister has risen up to the occasion very much, giving the public constant update on what has been done within the ministry, in particular as it relates to even the evacuation of people that are not Ghanaians, the Nigerians who are here, whom we are sending back into their country because they pose a major threat to us as it relates to the growing threats of terrorism, especially in the sub-region of West Africa. So clearly, that particular ministry as it relates to gender and affairs is really being managed very well under the caretaker ministry. And I think that, like I stated, I mean, President is very much in one mind in terms of singular identity to ensure that we handle the issues very well. From the political side, yes, thousands of people voted for her. On the government side, which is why we are making sure that the government is not halted. So her ministry is continually being taken care of. On the political side, which is why the legislature is seeking to continually ask for a conversation. And I believe that the appearance that they have sought to seek for her to appear next month, especially through the virtual means, if the time would avail itself and she would be able to do that, I think it will be good, even for her constituents to see that she's doing well. I think the entire country would rally their support behind the health condition of the son, which I'm sure for very good reasons might not be good to bring it into the public domain. But our prayers should continually be with her, because if you're a mother and you have a child who is going through a very difficult health challenge, I mean, I think that one of the major things you would want to do is to really keep focus on that. And the political side is where the constituents are excited to support her, like you heard from the polls and even from our own internal polls, that the constituents are very confident that should Adwoa Safo finish with taking care of the son, and the son is in a healthy state, she would come back and continue her work for her constituents and also continue for the government if the president so chooses to maintain her as an executive.
I've also heard people say that, look, when you look at Adwoa Safo's posture demeanor, it is a sharp variance with what you're saying and what you're telling us, because you're asking us to sympathize and empathize with her. But this woman is always dancing. She's always had dancing. She's singing. In fact, in her recent video, she was singing a Daddy Lumba song, as if to say she's shading persons who want the right things to be done. So I'm wondering whether really and truly what we're being told is what is on the ground. You know, anyway, you may not necessarily have to respond to this, but I'm just telling you what the feeling out there is amongst some Ghanaians.
I do understand that. I mean, but you know that more obviously, if you have a woman who is going through some very high level of stress and difficulties,
she needs to distress.
I just think that maybe we only pick the minutest part of her happiness and then elevate it and amplify it to be like she's in a very serene environment and she's happy and she's twatting her back to government. I mean, I think that for me, I would sympathize very much with her. I would hold brief for the constituents and tell them to continually repose confidence in her. I mean, clearly the seat is important. important. And for the government angle as well, I think that as a government, we have a caretaker ministry that is making sure that the ministry does not come to a standstill and the work is continually ongoing. And Parliament is also, the Speaker of Parliament has called for her to appear before the House. And I believe that through the virtual means, as she's able to share all these things on the virtual platform, she should make herself available and speak to the good people of this country, for the Ghanaian people to understand when she's going to come in at all.
Bishop, I don't know that you have any particular interest in this Dome Kwabena matter, because I want us to move to Cathedral. Now, she's been summoned to appear before the House. Just before we came on air, somebody was asking if, why she had to be summoned publicly, and that it isn't actually the way to go, and that she should have been contacted. And you're trying to set the record straight on that particular issue. If you can share that with the public.
Okay, so on this matter, let me say that it is instructive to state that how government has handled this particular matter is just a reflection that the MPP is not concerned about the welfare of the country. They are only concerned about winning election.
Okay.
For them, everything has to be about winning election.
Okay.
The general welfare of the minorities in society, it's not a concern to them. And perhaps it's also a reflection of how the president thinks that Ghanaian women are not dynamic. He made that statement publicly clear in Vancouver in one of the most embarrassing moments for me as a woman. And I cannot for my life understand why a ministry like Gender and Social Protection that needs all the attention it can, because already women are most discriminated against. And in a post-COVID economy, the data is showing that women, children, and other minorities are most affected. And any serious government, for the life of me, will want to invest every strength and resource. And we are being told that it appears Adwoa Safo has the president's naked video. And so at the detriment of every woman in the country and every child, she should hold the country to ransom.
Who said she has a video, the naked video?
Because I can't understand for the life of me why this will happen. Perhaps, yes, that's the only conclusion I can come to. Because you see, I am a woman. I am a feminist. And everybody who knows me knows that I champion some of the good things that should happen to women. And I have consistently showed that gender stereotyping and gender role has been one of the things that have affected us as women. And I have tried in every way I can to change the narrative or to contribute to changing the narrative.
Right.
And so I am the last person not to make a case for women. But you see, you do not allow one woman to hold millions of women to ransom. Why can't we separate Adwoa Safo's absence from Parliament from her role as a Minister of State? Because she can, and they can make way for her in Parliament for whatever reason and in the party. But for her to still be at post, receive salary as a minister, when in recent time we are told that post-COVID, gender-based violence has increased. There is no data as we speak from 2017 to now from that ministry to show how it is even increasing. The last time I checked, the data available was as far back as 2016. And we have these challenges, and we are told that, if the chief of staff can dole out 120,000 to her to come and vote during an e-levy, if you accumulate the salaries of MPs and even as a minister for a year, I'm sure it will just be around the 120,000. So why don't they give her another 120,000? Let her sit at home and take care.
It was meant to be a birthday gift.
Yes, so whatever thing, they can give her another leave gift so she can stay home, take care of her children as a mother, but the country must go. But you see, I am convinced that the second reason they cannot touch Adwoa Safo is because, she was a minister of procurement.
Yes.
She was a minister in charge of procurement.
Yes, she was.
And if ABAJ, who was the board or the chairman of the board, could make 15 million cedis in the space of 2 years, with all the procurement deals, with all the revelation coming up about how procurements were handled, perhaps if they dare touch her, she may have threatened to release all the deals they have cooked with that procurement processes.
Right.
Because if the board member could make 15 million, I can imagine what the others have made.
He was actually in charge of procurement.
Yes, she was the
CEO.
minister. She was the minister in charge.
Yes,
and
so
so
he was a CEO.
this whole thing should not be discussed within the setting of gender-based.
So, you're suggesting there's more to this issue.
Yes, there is more to
There's
this
more
issue
to-
because it beats my
for you-
imagination.
yes, okay.
It beats my imagination. And if you have a country like ours, a struggling country like ours, where you people have run down the country to the ground, what you need, and the most important sector is social protection for people who are socially vulnerable. And I've heard a lot of people make the argument that there is a caretaker minister. The caretaker minister has every limitations there are as a deputy minister. They can't give policy direction because you know why? In law, we say that a delegated duty cannot be delegated. So if the president has delegated a duty to a minister, she cannot further delegate it. So a caretaker ministry does not do anything for us. And it's about time the government begin to reorient its notions and perceptions about what governance should be. Because for me, I think governance is so serious a business that you cannot expect to have a balanced life if you are in the public sector.
Well, she says she's been in touch with the president. The president is fine with her situation. So I don't know why
So that's
you're crying more than the bereaved.
Yeah, I am actually the bereaved. I am a member of the society. I am a woman. That ministry relates directly to me. As we speak, people who have been defiled cannot afford to pay medical fees for prosecution. And this is what some of the things that the ministry should be championing. There is no minister at post who gives policy direction.
Maybe she's working remotely. I mean, you can't tell. Maybe she's working
No,
remotely.
she's not working remotely because the last time,
Yes.
sometime last year in October or so, her leave was extended.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
she has it. So when you're on leave, you don't work.
Yeah.
And we are not told that she's resumed from her leave,
You're
where
right.
she'll be expected to work remotely. So she's not working remotely.
That's
At
true.
best, she's doing Snapchat videos and TikTok, and I'm enjoying it.
You're enjoying it?
I can't do that video,
Really?
so I enjoy
Okay,
it.
that's fine. All right, so that's it with the conversation about Domi Kwabenya. But I wanted her to explain to us when Parliament summons you before the Privileges Committee, and she was talking about she was telling us something about substituted service because they're unable to reach her directly for her to come down, for her to be questioning as to why she's been absent all this while. So if you can educate what is substituted service.
So normally when you are required to be given notice for a hearing,
Okay.
or what we say actions which are in persona relates to you as a person,
Okay.
you are required to be served personally.
Okay.
And so if it were a court process, a bailiff ought to serve you personally. In this case, because she was not present, she was served severally through her research assistant, who confirmed that she had indeed received the service. Consistently, she was not appearing. So Parliament had no option than to go by media publication in the Daily Graphic. Because normally, even if you go to court, substituted service, you go through publication and by posting a copy at the courts. But here, because it's not the court, they publish through the Daily Graphic. And then they carry the story and it was published. So that would amount to the second means, which is a substituted service, if personal service is not possible. Otherwise, anytime somebody is wanted to answer some charges against them, they will never make themselves available and nothing will proceed.
I see.
So there is always a second option, and I don't see anything procedurally wrong with that process. Yeah.
Now, in case you have any opinions that you want to share with us, you have any views or contributions you want to make, we're more than happy to receive them on 0500025621. 0500025621. That's the WhatsApp line. I sincerely apologize. I should have advertised this line a while back. So 0500025621. So some of you have actually sent us. I think some of you have saved the number on your phone. So if you've already started sending us messages, we will read them. We promise you we'll do that.